What is up, YouTube? This is another video in Python talking about modules. And a module is basically a file containing Python code, and it may contain functions, classes, etc. And it's usually used with modular programming, which is used to separate a program into parts. So here I have my functions module, and inside the functions module, I'm gonna have two functions. The first one is function one, and it's gonna basically print this is function one, and it could do any other thing. It could be a for loop, whatever. But this is just strictly an example. And for our next one, we're gonna call it function two, and it's gonna print this is function two, and please like and subscribe. And inside our main folder or our main program, we're gonna import functions. So at the top you want to import functions, and from functions you can say import functions as f. This is just to give it an alias, just to make it so that you don't have to write f or functions every time. But for now I'm just going to keep it as functions just for the example, and we're going to say functions dot function one. And once we call this function, it's going to print this is function one. If we do the same thing, but for function two, it's going to print function two, or it's going to call function two, and it's going to do what it says, which is printing this, all of this. Okay, cool. So there's another thing you can do, which is, like I said, the alias. So as f, you can say as f or as whatever. You can give it any name, like that, for example, but we're just going to use f. And when you do that, this way you don't have to write functions dot something something. You can just write f, and that makes it so much simpler, a lot less typing, and as you can see, it has the same effect. Okay, now we did this and we did this, but we can also import specific functions from that module, or specific anything from that module. But in this case, we have functions. So to do that, you just say the same thing, import functions as, or from, let me just write that at the beginning, from functions import function one, and then you can say comma function two. Actually, when you import the specific function, it's already there, so you don't need to write functions dot something. You can just call the function itself, and same for the second function, and you just call it and it works the same. But this is kind of tedious if you have to do it for a lot of functions. So if you want, you can also say import asterisk or star, as some people might call it. And if you do that, then it imports all the functions and classes or whatever that comes inside this module. And this one is considered kind of dangerous because some might have the same name, or it just might become a little bit too much, and it's going to be kind of confusing when you try to call it inside the code. So it's kind of better to call them specifically one by one, or just not to import all. But as you can see, this works the same exact way. So you can use any of these to import the module and use the functions and classes within that module. And one more thing, you can also type help and pass in modules as the argument, and that will give you all the modules that are in Python from the factory, I guess you could say. And if I run this code, please wait a moment while I gather all available modules, and it'll take a moment, and then it'll print all the modules. And as you can see right here, you have all the modules that you can use, and they're just there from the standard Python library. And as you can see, you have random, which we've used before, and there's also something like math. I'm not sure where it is, but OS, we've used that before with file handling. And you have modules, and you have math, and so on and so forth for all the other ones. But that's basically it for modules in Python. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe for more computer science content, and as always, the full code will be posted in the comments down below.